Hello students, welcome back to our latest update program. In this video, we'll discuss the African swine fever whose cases are rapidly rising in one of our states. This state is now becoming a new hotspot for this disease. And which state are we talking about here? It is Assam. So the Assam government has banned the inter-district movement of pigs with immediate effect amid an alarming rise in the African swine fever cases in the state. So the African swine fever infects pigs and these cases are rapidly increasing in Assam. So much so that 7 districts here are severely affected. And if we talk about some data over here, then in the past 5 years, since 2020, the pig population in Assam has dropped by 8 lakhs because these many pigs have died from the African swine fever. So this state at the moment is severely affected. Other northeastern states are also affected, but Assam is the most affected at the moment. So in order to contain the outbreak of this disease, the inter-district movement of pigs has been banned under the provisions of Prevention and Control of Infectious and Communicable Diseases in Animals Act 2009. So the African swine fever becomes important for our exam. So let's study this disease in detail. What is the African swine fever? African swine fever is a highly contagious viral disease which is caused by the African swine fever virus. And what type of a virus is this? DNA virus or RNA virus? This is a double-stranded DNA virus. African swine fever is caused by the African swine fever virus, which is a double-stranded DNA virus. And this virus infects pigs only, which means that it does not infect humans. It is not a zoonotic disease. It infects only pigs. But even though it does not infect humans, humans can unknowingly act as the carriers of this disease. Because let's say a person works at a farm where these infected pigs are present, the person can basically unknowingly carry the virus on its clothes or his footwear and then move to a different location where the pigs were not affected, and then it can transmit the virus to those healthy pigs also, and the healthy pigs will now contract the African swine fever. So humans, even though not directly infected, they can still act as the carriers of this disease. And one of the saddest parts of this disease is that it has a very high mortality rate. The mortality rate over here is nearly 100%, which means it is severely fatal. Almost every pig that contracts the disease dies because there is no vaccine or cure to the disease. Again, an ugly truth, there is no vaccine, no cure, it cannot be treated. So almost every pig that contracts the disease dies. And if we talk about some important symptoms over here, then these symptoms in pigs are high fever, loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, etc. But one of the most important symptoms here is the discoloration of skin. There is a red, blue discoloration of skin. So once these pigs are infected, they cannot be treated, they cannot be cured. So what is done? First of all, their movement is restricted. This is what the Assam government is also doing at the moment. The movement has to be restricted because this is a highly contagious disease. It can be transmitted from one infected pig to another. So in order to contain the outbreak of the disease, the movement has to be restricted. And then, unfortunately, there is a mandatory culling of the infected pigs. Because there is no cure, there is no vaccine, there is no treatment, unfortunately all the infected pigs are killed so as to contain the disease from being transmitted. So this is what happens to control the disease, control the outbreak of the disease. And also biosafety or biosecurity measures are followed. Because I just told you that even though humans not directly are infected, but they can still act as what? As the carriers of the disease. So it is very important to follow biosecurity measures where there will be exclusion, management, and containment of these pigs. Exclusion means that the entry of visitors will be restricted on the farms, or new pigs will be quarantined so that the area can be contained and prevented from the outbreak of the disease. So first of all, there is going to be exclusion. New visitors will not be allowed. Quarantine facility will be there. And then there is going to be management of the farm. Management meaning that if there's any disease, if the disease is already present in the farm, then it has to be contained within the farm. It should not leave the farm. So there will be bio-management practices, and then bio-containment is also going to happen so that this is not transmitted from one farm to another. If the pigs are killed on the farm, then their carcasses will also have to be disposed of safely so that the disease can be contained within the farm. In management, you will have to control the outbreak of the disease within the farm also, but in containment, they should not be transmitted from one farm to another, from one place to another. So all the disposal of these dead bodies will also have to happen. The carcasses will also have to be disposed of easily. Scavengers will have to be taken care of. So all these things will be happening in the containment practices. So biosecurity measures will be taken for exclusion, management, and containment of the disease. And humans, even though not directly infected, but they are going to act as the carriers of the disease. And there are other implications as well on humans. Even though they are not infected by the disease, but are there any things that you can think of that are going to affect the humans or the life of humans because of African swine fever? So first is the economic losses. Because a lot of people have their livelihood on the domestication of pigs, on the selling of pork. So they are going to face economic losses over here because their movement has been banned. Nobody is going to consume the pork. Then what is going to happen? They are going to face economic hardships. There are going to be livelihood losses for these people. Then there could also be situations of food security in some communities. Because there could be some communities, especially the tribal communities or the rural communities, who consume pig on a large basis, on a heavy basis. Then what is going to happen? If these pigs, they cannot consume the pork anymore because pigs are infected. We do not know which pig is infected, which is not infected. So pork selling is also banned. So what is going to happen? Naturally, there could be some food security concerns, food security issues in some of the communities. And there could also be some cultural issues. Because some pigs, like pigs in some communities, they also have some ceremonial value. So if pigs are not allowed to be transported from one place to another, or you cannot consume their meat, you cannot perform any activity, then what is going to happen? There could be some cultural implications as well. So that is also one of the things that can affect the humans. But largely there are going to be economic losses and livelihood losses for the people who depend on pigs for their daily needs, or for their livelihood, for their occupation. So these are some implications on humans as well. Even though they are not directly infected, there are some indirect implications that the humans have to face. So that was all for this video. We understood what African swine fever is, what are the symptoms and how is it spread, and how can we contain the disease. And right now it is increasing in almost all the northeastern states. Mizoram is also very badly affected, but Assam right now at the moment it is the most affected, is severely affected by African swine fever. That is why the inter-district movement of pigs has been banned in Assam. So now let us look at a practice question for prelims. Which of the following is a correct statement about African swine fever? A. It is a zoonotic viral disease that can infect both pigs and humans. B. It is caused by an RNA virus and spreads mainly through aerosols. C. It has no vaccine and is controlled primarily through strict biosecurity and movement restrictions. D. It is transmitted only through mosquito vectors in tropical regions. Choose the correct statement. Please attempt this question and provide your answers in the comment section. Thank you for watching.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.